So, welcome back. Our episode went a bit long, so we decided to split it into two. We've talked about the pillars of our system so far and the pillars of health. So far, we've talked about the first three, and enjoy the second episode. Thanks.
Let's talk about the next pillar. Let's talk about how important is sleep and recovery. And it's a beautiful pillar. And for that, I wanted to ask you about why is recovery so misunderstood in when we talk about wellness and health? It's like it's completely recovery misunderstood.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's misunderstood and undervalued for sure. I mean, people think I've got to go, go, go. If I'm going to get results, it's all about how much work I can do or how much I can put those stressors on my body that my body's going to adapt to in putting it in more scientific terms, right? But recovery is about adaptation. Recovery is how the adaptation happens. It's not about being lazy or being inactive. You need the recovery to have the response that you want your body to have. At the end of a workout, you're not stronger, you're weaker. You've just broken down your energy systems and your muscles have been stressed. So you need the recovery to get the full adaptation that you're trying to signal. If you just go and work that muscle again right away, you're not getting the full benefit of that first workout. And so you're stressing that muscle again, and you have to rest it even longer if you're going to get the full benefit of even that workout. But you're skipping the step of your gains. You're skipping a step of what you need. So and that happens not only in the workouts, but your mental stress as well. If I'm always like go 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 go, I've got to get so much work done in my workday to be to get things done to get meet my goals or whatever it is. But you'll end up with too much mental stress, and then you become your brain's not going to be working as well. It's the recovery from even the mental stress that helps your brain recover, that helps your hormonal systems recover so that you have that resilience to go back and do things better next time. Your brain exercises just like your muscles do. And so does your emotional body and everything else. Your the way you stress yourself has to be intentional. And even if it isn't intentional, you still need that recovery time to get the full adaptation, to get that resilience, to get that adaptation that gets you stronger, that gets you better, that gets you, the goals that you want to get. And so recovery has to be so taken into account. Sleep is one of those things that's a big part of that recovery. It's not only sleep, it's obviously the periods of inactivity for physical, but there's so much that happens during sleep. So I know you've studied probably more than I have on the sleep. So please let us know, like, if we're not getting enough sleep, what is that really doing to us?
Oh, yes. And before I entered the sleep, I wanted to share too, because some people are sometimes confused in the recovery. What kind of things are recovery? And I wanted to add that we have like saunas. It's one way to recover. It can help. We have massages. You can go a good massage for different reasons. Uh, just disconnecting and going out for hiking with a friend after a whole week of really mental work is a way of recovery too. So there are a lot of different ways that we can adapt that recovery. But as you were saying, what happens when we are missing sleep? That's the biggest one of all the recovery sets that we have to do now. So missing sleep is so detrimental for our body, for our emotions, for our focus and the function of your brain, for how your body behaves when it comes to eating patterns, to how it affects your identity because you don't behave like you should usually will be, and that's why sometimes you see someone and say like, I think that person didn't sleep because they're behaving completely different of usually who they are. So missing sleep it affects the whole body. It affects how it repairs. So if you are doing a lot of exercise, you're going to the gym the whole week, pushing hard and everything, week after week, week after week, and you have 1 month, 2 months, and you're not doing recoveries or you are not doing sleep and you're not sleeping enough. And just like how this guy does 10 times less than me, but come on, he's getting fit, he's getting strong. Oh, I can ensure you that guy is taking care of their sleep. And there is where all the adaptation is happening. He's really giving the space the body to adapt. So it's so important to understand that if you don't sleep well, it really disrupts your whole everything. It disrupts all the other areas. It's like this foundational part that helps all the other systems of your body. So you need a good sleep for your focus, your cognitive, and how your brain is functioning for decision making, to be clear in your mind, to have a good emotional regulation, and you don't react very hard to things, and you're more calm, you are rested. Have you seen how some people behave when they are tired? They are bad mood. They talk bad to you, or they're reacting very, or they crash down and begin to cry. They are just tired. So it's so important in that part. And even sleeping is so important for if you want to lose weight and you're only focused on nutrition. Hey, sleep is a big part of losing weight. Is you need to sleep well. And it's so important that we respect some parameters when we go to sleep to have a, it's not about only, because some people think it's about only the quantity of hours you sleep, but it's the quality of your sleep that is very important. So missing hours or missing quality is going to disrupt how you really rest, and it's going to disrupt the whole rhythm of your day. And talking about the rhythm is one of our pillars too. It's about rhythm. And I wanted, uh, before to jump into rhythm, I just remember one thing, and I want to share with the people. I have been a person that, and I know about this sleep because I have deprived myself from sleep so many times, for party, for
I've
having
witnessed that.
fun. Yeah, you have witnessed.
Yeah,
And a big example of
yeah,
who can disrupt their body by not sleeping well. And the decision making have been harder, emotionally harder. And I have to say that sadly, I have a bad relationship when I was growing up with sleep, because for me, sleep was losing time. When I was young, sleeping it was for losers. If you are sleeping, you are not doing. So I was pushing hard and not sleeping well. If I was sleeping, I was not having the party with my friends and the good moments. If I was sleeping, I was not working in the home where I needed to do. If I was sleeping, I was not doing the exercises I needed to do. So sleep was like a loss of time. And it changed a lot when I respect sleep. It changed me. It helps me to be another person. So I know, and you know, that I can go, come on, push your body and everything. Now, if I do it intentionally. Intentionally, I will say, okay, I'm gonna have fun, but I will prepare myself before that. And even if I cannot recover that sleep that I disrupt, but I will try to do the best so it affects the less to me. But I always know that then I will have to rest in the following days the best possible quality sleep to recover from that. And now let's talk about the rhythm. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about connection. Is very important. And this is another pillar we love to talk about, because energy, rhythm, and connection is so important. And that's why I want you, Corey, share a little bit with us. What do really, what is really meaning when we say that we want to talk about the energy of the body? What would you can explain people what is
yeah,
energy of the
yeah.
body?
It's it's more than just a simple answer of saying that energy is, our body moving and burning calories and doing all the physical and chemical functions that we know about. And that's the basic physical and chemical energy that we're aware of that our body has. But there are different levels of energy in our body. It goes down to the electrical system of our body, the nervous system. We have electrical energy. We have, and beyond that, sort of a life energy. And this is more less scientific. I'll give you that. We'll put that right out there. But from more of these Eastern philosophies from way back, all talk about life force energy, like in Chinese medicine, it's the qi, life force. In yoga, it's just, they talk about different levels of energy, and you have your energy body and more subtle energies. And these things, I know I've experienced them intentionally, and I guess you can probably bring up an example for people to understand some simple form of it. Like if you're feeling really empathetic, if you feel like you're really sorry for something, or really you feel that like my heart's broken, or my heart opens up, I feel a lot of love. You feel this like feeling in your chest, and that's not that's why people call the heart, the center for, you think your heart is the organ for love or whatever it is, right? But that's because you feel those strong energies, those strong emotive, empathetic kind of energies through that center of your chest, and you feel that. And so anybody can feel that, understands, and when people practice it more, they can feel that in different parts of their body, and feel that part of their energy level is real, is part of who they are. That is, and if you're religious or want to look at the soul and the spiritual aspect of it, that's, I think, just more subtle forms of energy. And the way I like to look at it, it's just a different sort of level of energy in your body. And so all these levels of energy work together to create our whole self. And so you have this, that physical and chemical energy that we sort of see and know about, and that's just calories in, calories out kind of energy, right? But these other energies can lift you up or take you down. He talked about, lack of sleep and being in bad emotional moods. We all know that, no matter what we've eaten, if we've got plenty of energy, technically, physically, yet we're in a bad mood, we can't spur very good energy. We have this more subtle energy depressing our ability to work, in a physical level. The processes that create energy that we want to see in our lives, right? So the same way that a bad mood brings down your energy, stress just sort of takes your energy, right? It requires so much of that more subtle energy that you don't have it left over to spur on the energies that you want, the productive energies, the joyous energies, the active energies that you want in your life. And so those are the things that we want to take care of. So we have these different levels of energy in your body. So we can't force it. We want to cultivate it, just like we talked about nourishing your body, and having these different levels of being able to support your body. You're not forcing it. You can't force it to say, I've eaten this many calories so I can do this much activity and I have this much energy. It is about taking care of your whole self, and from all the way down to the spiritual level, and that life force level, and the interaction with your environment, and taking the energy from the sun and everything else, that you have that ability to interact with your environment energetically. And so, that I've taken on some of these yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong kind of practices that have helped, sort of keep that energy constant, and sort of talk about in flow. That's another sort of more common realization of that kind of energy, that more subtle energy, to where these things, when somebody's in flow, like in a sport, or playing an instrument, there's no full mechanical explanation for how good that body behaves, or how that body interacts with its environment, beyond that energy is flowing as it's supposed to. and you're not thinking, you're not trying to force it, you're not trying to, you're a person, uh, the best basketball players are, when they go up for a jump shot, they're not thinking about, oh, I need to lift my arm at this angle and I need to put here. I'm not, they're not thinking about mechanics. They are in flow. They are letting it go without thinking about it at all. They're not in their head at all. And that's when people say, well, they got in their head. Once you get in your head, you're out of flow, and you're then not going to perform as well. And so that's another example of how our energies of our body need to flow. We need to cultivate them, and it's beyond just that physical and chemical energy that we're so aware of. Yeah,
I
go ahead.
love what you were saying. I would love because it's true that energy is is about the thoughts too. Where we were talking about identity, energy is related to our thoughts and how you express. And lack of sleep, low energy, bad mood.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when you are energized? You feel happy. You feel, oh my God. What do you say about people? Oh, that person so he has so good vibe. It's like very good energy. It's like you like when that person
Yeah.
entered the room. Or when you were talking about sports, how's the energy that you feel in the field with all the people cheering you up? And what happens? A big example, a game,
Mm-hmm.
last minute, they are dying. They have been running all the time. They have been like hard work during that match. And what happens when they win a World Cup or uh, anything, a championship? They go like crazy. They begin to run and jump. And like, what happened? They were dying minutes ago. They were like tired. Usually after a match like that, you're like, ah. But the emotion, that feeling is so much energy that you can see the people pushing and going farther. I said, what is going on here? They were going
Yeah.
to die 2 minutes ago. Now they win. And that guy with cramps and doing exercises because he cannot move anymore. Now he's running, celebrating with the people. That's energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And or a rock star in front of a big audience that gives that uh, energy, and all those big performers, they talk about that kind of the energy they feel from the crowd, and they get that energy. That's not explainable through our physical mechanisms that physical or chemical energy. That is that subtle energy. That is that interactive energy. And speaking of interaction, the connections that we have, and the rhythms in our life shape your health as well. So, explain a little bit more how that happens, like not only like day to day, but also long term.
So, as we were saying, energy is so important. It's your mood, your how you behave, how you present, how you express. But it's so important that to keep that energy up, we have a good rhythm in life and we have an environment that supports us. Not only I'm talking about the connection with people. So we need that rhythm in life, uh, good sleep, good movement, the nutritional part. So all these movements to begin to set and keep that balance and harmony of your energy flowing. But to keep that energy up and everything, we need more than that. We need these natural rhythms that we have, circadian rhythms and other rhythms of our body, but we need that that rhythm that is outside our body. And we have different rhythms in life, and we have a little bit of different kinds of connections. So we have the rhythm of the year, and we have that seasonal movement of the year. So we have summer, we have spring, we have winter, fall, and in each one there are happening different things. We have other rhythms in our own life when we're in school, we were in our career, when you're single, when you have a girlfriend, when you have family. You have different seasons in life. These are different seasons, different moments in life, and they have each one have different rhythms. But all this is connected to the connection. So we need the rhythms and the connection. And I'm not talking about the connection as always we say, oh, connection with other people, connection with your friends, family, and relationships. And it's super important, those connections. But I will start with the first connection we need is connection with ourselves. That's the first connection. You have to connect with yourself, with your body, with your mind, to understand what you want in life, to understand your purpose, to understand your values. Connecting deeply with you is so important because it's the first rhythm, the internal rhythm of your body, the internal rhythm you have in that moment in life goes interconnected of how you connect with yourself. What do you think about yourself? How much love you give to yourself, how much compassion you give to yourself. That connection is super important. We have that connection with yourself gives you a lot of signals and how you behave in life. And this is all about identity. So that's the first connection with yourself. It's your identity, connecting inward. Then you have another connection that people doesn't talk that much, but is with your environment, your surroundings, nature, animals. Those are so important. One of the best ways to regulate energy is connecting with your environment, with nature, going barefoot into the grass, into the sun, going into the sea. It regulates your energy levels. And that is so important to have it. That connection that you can connect with nature, going for hikings, being in parks, connecting with animals and playing with them. So those connections are essential too. And of course, we need those connections with the sun, the wind, the weather. Those affects how we express ourselves too in the world and how our energy moves and that connection with others. That is essential. We are social. We need, if you isolate someone for a long, very period of time, there is completely depression. They're gonna go down. They lose motivation, they lose everything. That's why COVID, when it hits, it was so hard for so many people. That isolation from the rest of the people, from nature, from people, and that lacking of connection will affect the connection they have with their own selves. So we need all these to work together, but it's essential that you have an environment that supports you, a group of connections, family, relationship, friends. All those are so important to keep the connection you have with yourself in touch. But it's true that these days I have seen that a lot of people have connection with others and maybe connection with nature, but they are lacking that connection with themselves. And they don't like to be with themselves too. Like if you really sit in a place alone and you are not able to be with yourself, you need to work in connection with yourself. If you don't want to be alone with yourself, doing distracting yourself, having the phone, doing this, doing that, and it's hard for you to sit down a little bit with yourself. It's a moment that you have to reflect like, here I have to put some work because I'm lacking that connection with myself. So to get the good rhythm of energy, we have to follow the rhythm of life and adapt to them. You cannot do exactly the same when you were single than when you are in a relationship than when you are married and with children. You cannot do the same that you did in school, then in university, or when you are working in a professional career. There are different rhythms, and you will adapt your connections, you will adapt the way you behave in the world, and you will adapt all what we were talking before, your fitness, your nutrition, your sleep, and everything to the rhythms of life in the one you are in that moment. So, as we talked in the past, mind body connection, it's all about this the connection you have with your mind, with your body, and with everything that surrounds you. So important. And
Yeah,
yes,
that means so much. It's so important to have that connection. In addition, that's why we talk about this is a whole pillar. Is that, they're working on our energy and our connections and our attitude. that's kind of soft power, if you will, of that level of existence, the mind, the emotions, and it all happens through the connection, through the rhythm of our life, and taking care of that balance of energy and that flow. And so, you know, the first pillars that we talked about were about sort of that the physical adaptations that we can make, that so the obvious changes and stressors to our bodies. But so health isn't built on that kind of effort alone. It's built through this, the energy and the rhythm and connection as well.
That's beautiful. I love it. And it's like that. And now that we have talked a lot about these pillars that are so essential to our health, I wanted to talk a little bit about why pushing harder is gonna break this ecosystem, this system that we have been talking. And there, I wanted to ask you, Corey, why do people still believe more effort is always the answer?
Right. I mean, because it's just our culture, you know, it's go, go, go. This, you know, it's become more and more so recently. You know, this Western culture that we've developed is that we think we need to do more and more and more and more and more. And and so they think that that's the only way to get ahead and that's the only way to get results. But at some point you're just fighting yourself, and you're fighting the adaptation and the recovery and the in gaining the fruits of whatever labor you've put in just by more effort. And so if you keep putting more and more effort, I gotta work, you're gonna work till you die. When are you gonna enjoy the results of this effort? Right. And that's the same as you know, fitness is like, I gotta, you know, so they take that attitude of work to get more, work to get more, to their fitness life or something like that, and says, so I ought to punish myself to get any results. I really work so hard, and and that's not the truth. You know, if you're intentionally stimulating, it is not. You don't even have to. They talk about, oh yeah, you work hard enough to tear down the tissues, and you really get these micro tears, and you really hurt yourself, and that's is discovered that's not the case. Yes, there's some of that happens to some degree, but you don't have to make yourself totally sore every time you work out to get stimulation to grow your muscle. That
No
muscle growth
pain, no
stimulation.
gain.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And, but that's not the reality of it. If you're working with it, you know what you're doing, you stimulate yourself correctly, and you allow yourself to recover correctly. You, yeah, you're going to be, you know, a little bit of pain here and there, but you can really optimize your recovery by just like, how do I optimize the fruits that I get out of this labor, not just more and more labor. You know, and something's going to come out of it for sure. You know, but then you're punishing yourself the whole time. So you misunderstand that more isn't necessarily better. But the best change usually comes gradually, and that's the lasting stuff, the stuff that you can appreciate more, and the stuff that you know you can maintain uh, for the longevity of your life. And so too much effort is just going to like kill you. And that's where some people like they punish themselves for having rested too long or having been out of it. So they're like, oh, I've been a couch potato for a year and a half and I gained all this weight. So I'm going to hit the gym hard this time. And they go and they can't slow down. Because they've worked out before, they know what they're doing. Right. So they're going in and they just push themselves, and then they either injure themselves or it hurts so bad that they're just going to wind up back on the couch again and all this stuff. It's like, no, you, you need to be a little more gentle with yourself. It's going to break you if you're going too hard. When you push yourself too hard, your body, you know, responds. So what really happens in the body when you're pushing too hard, or your mind is, you know, your body's going to react when we push too hard. So let's kind of get into technically what does that do to your body?
Well, first we have to understand that when your mind feels threatened or your body feels the dangers, if your mind is feeling danger coming, or your body is gonna go the other way. So when the mind is feeling, oh, this is threatening me, this is dangerous, is the same is gonna be connected to the body, and the body is gonna react. But the same happens the other way. If the body is feeling threatened, it's going to affect the mind too. And what we're talking here sometimes when it's in the mind can be like the ego response, or it can be just override your stress levels and overwhelming and becoming anxiety, and all that is going to have a response in your body. So if it's the ego, it can make you be in defensive mode, and stress and anger, and all these reactions are going to have direct impact in your body. But at the same time, when the body is feeling it because you are pushing it too hard and is feeling the danger, it's going to shut down. If you go to the gym 5 days in a row and you begin to work out every day a lot of hours, and the body's like, what the hell is happening? It's like he's working 3 4 hours a day, pushing as hard every day, and your body can support this for maybe a period of time, but there is a threshold. Once you cross that threshold, your body is trying to protect you. It's gonna shut down. So now I'm not gonna let you move for several days. So go into the bed, and stay there, almost dying because everything hurts and you feel fatigue and burnout and everything. And your mind is gonna be fucked up too. It's gonna be like, oh my God, I cannot move, it hurts. And so any of the two ways, when you override and you put in danger your body, is going to affect your mind. And when you put in danger your mind or your identity, your ego, your mental stress is getting to that, and you cross that threshold. Once you cross the threshold, there is a big impact in the body too. So we have to always, if we want a good performance, we have to come from safety for the body and safety for the mind. So important, the recovery process, the stopping. We have to learn to understand the signals of the body and the mind to say, okay, sometimes I can push and go faster, and sometimes you have to slow down and take it easy. And that's the truth. Even a good point of view is, look, in business, sometimes some businesses, like, we have to go faster and push and push and push and push and push and push and push, and they don't give time to adapt to the business. Oh, we're growing, we're all this money's coming in, all of that, until they get to a moment that they cannot give what they are offering, because, oh, we sell all these millions, yes, but we don't have the space to produce all this in time to give this to the people, and it goes bankrupt. You were pushing and you were like, oh my God, this, but you didn't have the infrastructure. You didn't have the structure to support all that rhythm that was pushing so hard.
Mhm.
But the other way will be the same. You cannot slow all the time and not do nothing because it's dangerous to move a little bit. No. So you have to know that there are moments to push and there are moments to
Yeah.
slow down.
And I
And
like what you said
that,
about yeah, the structure, the basic structure having to be there. That's it's the same with your body as the business. It's like if you get overextend your business, you don't have the infrastructure to support that, then you're going to overextend and you're going to be in trouble. It's the same with your body. If your
exactly.
joints aren't strong enough to handle, like, it's like these guys can, like, especially like young guys, could like build a lot of muscle in a short period of time if they got the hormones going right and they get enough protein and stuff, but they haven't had their joints. They've they can get over themselves when they haven't had that structure base, that good solid base of, and that's why the gradual changes work so much better for people, as people who are older
Exactly.
and get back into it, and they can do all this stuff, all these stresses of their body, and their basic body's not used to expending that energy. They're not used to the stressors on the bones and the joints, and then that's when they get injuries and soreness and everything else. Versus when you do it on a gradual level, all that stuff builds at the same time, so you're able to have this nice strong base and structure to support that growth.
And exactly as you were saying, because imagine, I have never run a marathon. I'm there and I talk with a friend. Hey, let's run this marathon. Okay, when is it? In 3 months. Oh, let's do it. I'm going to train for the marathon. I'm gonna go out. Okay, how much I have to run? Oh, I should be running every day 10 kilometers. I'm gonna run that. I ensure you that person, the first thing he's gonna feel is an injury. If he doesn't know how to run, if his joints are not prepared for that, his cardiovascular system is not prepared for that, and he goes the first day and try to run, first it's gonna be really hard. It runs the 10 kilometers really hard, but if he's gonna cross that threshold, his body he's gonna shut down. And if he do it in a not safety way, he's gonna get injury. So for a good performance, we come first from safety and to understand our thresholds and to know when to slow down. So for me, that's one of the basics that we have to understand. I wanted to enter a final point that we want to express and share with the people, and I wanted to ask you about, because we have to learn, as I was saying, to listen the body. We have to understand those signals to find the rhythm of the body again. And in that way, I wanted to ask you, how does the body, um, how can I say, how simply explain it in a way, how the body communicates with us? What is what we
Yeah,
have to be looking for?
yeah, and we've kind of talked a bit about it throughout this episode about the, that the symptoms are the signals from the body, right? And so we talk about sore joints, we talk about fatigue, we talk about you know uh, digestion not being good, all these things that our body that we feel in our body, and 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 the more we get in tune with our body, the more we listen to these, the better we are at listening to them and recognizing them. Some people are not connected with their body very well at all, and so they just kind of ignore these symptoms until they get really, really bad, until they are really loud signals by the body, right? And so sometimes the better you are at listening to your body, the more subtle you can adjust, right? You can look at these signals as these little pain here, a little pain there. Oh, this is something I need to adjust. I better get a massage here before this snowballs into something that really takes my spine out of alignment. That kind of thing, to where then I'll have a disc slipped in and I have a real problem. That so that you feel the subtle things like, okay, let's take care of the subtle thing, and really the fine tuning becomes better when you get better at listening to your body. So we talk about even fever being an example of intelligence in the body, and recognizing what the fever is trying to tell us. Oh, there's an infection in the body. I've got a fever. That means I should rest and let my immune system work a little bit, right? and
Mm.
and sometimes that hits you hard enough when you're sick that you're kind of forced to rest. But some people try to push through things like that. But no, that's a signal that your body needs to work on something. You need your energies going toward healing, toward fighting something off, and let that fever work. And that fever is an intelligent thing to it raises the temperature so that it's inhospitable to whatever virus or whatever bacteria it's trying to fight. And so let your body do that thing. Let your body do what it wants to do. And don't fight it. Don't try to push beyond it. Don't ignore it. Uh, so the body's always talking to us, and we just need to sort of learn that language. And so we weren't. It's not automatic. We don't always know. It's not always intuitive. But the more we try to work at it, the better we get at it, and the more subtle we can be with our adjustments and fine tuning of the performance of this amazing machine that we're always trying to figure out, right? So if we do that, and we sort of start to master it, what does that actually look like? What are the outcomes we can expect?
So learning to hear the body. So I will start sharing a moment that I didn't listen my body correctly.
Yeah.
Uh, I suffered back pain, lower back pain for a long time, and I was having sciatic issues. So I have a disc hernia, and it come with me for a long time. And until I didn't put my awareness that my body's telling me something is wrong. I was feeling my body just broken. I have a bad colon, and that's all. But it was interesting that when I began to do something medicine never told me to do, they told me, don't go to the gym, don't do this, it's bad for your back, you'll have this injury, don't do it. But I began to understand my body and to feel aware. And I began to work. I went to the gym, strength training for my back. I began to train for my back. Disappeared. The signal of pain disappeared. Even when doctors see me again, they were like, what are you doing? It's like the the hernia, the hole and everything is like going smaller. It's like you're really recovering. And now I pick more weight and I function much better. So the first thing is awareness. You need awareness, and awareness is to be curious, is to uh, look about the things without the fear, without the judgment. We don't want to, oh, there is pain, and begin panicking from fear and judging the outcome. Oh, I have this pain because this, and then you go read, and oh, I have this symptom. Oh, I'm, shh, calm down. We bring first awareness, and not from fear, just from curiosity. Second, we don't judge the outcome. The outcome is one problem. This is the signal. This is the signal. But we have to see, okay, what is the input that causes that output? So once you can find out, oh, it's true, in the last months I began to do this, and then I began to feel this. Oh, okay, let's do a small change in the input. Let's try to work in that. And you begin to recalibrate slowly your body. So my signal of the lower back was that I didn't have strength in my back, in the lower back, in my muscles. So each time I was picking up stuff and I was doing it incorrectly, but at the same time, when I was doing it, all the tension was coming from the bones, not from the muscles. So I was pushing hard. When I began to change the signal, it begins to, okay, now I'm getting, now it's my muscles doing the job. And now my column can rest a little bit and it does what it needs to do. So a small input create a good ripple effect and it begins to change. Now that I didn't have the lower back pain, I can do other stuff that I couldn't do it before. And now my body begins to function better. And now all the tension in my back because one muscle was working more than another, or the position I was walking, that was all that began to disappear. So you began with the curiosity, asking, okay, I'm feeling this, why this can be, no judgment, just awareness, curiosity. Okay, and then, okay, what inputs I can do to help, and what small change I can do to begin to create this change. And once you begin to do that, it helps you that the rhythm, as we were talking before, we have different rhythms in life. You can return to that rhythm where you were feeling great, where you were feeling good. But you have to start everything with your awareness. And the thing is that we have to learn, as you were saying, Corey, the body is always talking. It's not only sending you symptoms when things are wrong, it's telling you too when it's great, but we are not aware. Maybe you eat something and you are like super energized, but you don't think, oh, it was that food. Sometimes we sleep great and next day we're like, oh, why yesterday I was so happy and today I'm so down. So the symptoms, they are not only coming sometimes, we call them symptoms, we can say symptoms, but there are good and bad symptoms. No, so it's nice to be aware too of what is working. So bring that awareness to the rhythm. And once you learn this, you know that your body is always talking, sending you signals, good or bad. So it's always talking. And when you listen to this talk, to these signals, it's so easy to come back to the return, the rhythm that you were having, where you were feeling powerful, feeling good. So to return to your correct rhythm, or to go to the rhythm, because maybe you have listened for a long time, you have to listen your body. it has been a long talk. We have been
Yeah.
explaining a lot of things today.
Yes.
Have been we were really into the things because we love these. We love talking about our body, the health, the wellness, the mind. It's a beautiful topics. We are really passionate about, as you can see. So I just wanted to wrap up because it's for a long time, and we want to first thank you for your time, everyone, you there with us here. Thank you very much. We have a great time talking together. And if this conversation really brings you a little bit of clarity, if it brings you curiosity and some awareness, please hit the like button. It really helps us. And please follow up the podcast wherever platform you are looking at, Spotify, YouTube, or Apple. Please just follow us. It's very helpful for us. And share with this with someone you feel that they need it or can be beneficial for them. And remember always, we have some free resources where you can start taking action right now. It can be very helpful.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Elliot. And we also have a program if you would like to like our personalities and coaching, and you want to go deeper with us. We have a program that is Body Evolution. You can check that out in the link below as well, and follow us on our social medias. And the links for all those are in the show notes. And thanks for sticking with us, like Elliot said, through this long episode. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
See you next